Something that I really liked was that I got to have regular contact with some friendly faces that weren't inside the house in my bubble, other people that I could talk to and interact with, check in with how they were going, get some interesting input from different people's speech contest topics. And we also had drinks, so the week that we weren't meeting, we would have virtual drinks. I think that's how it worked, unless we had them on a Friday. Anyway, we had an extra meeting where we had virtual drinks. And I guess that just showed that we really wanted to be in touch with each other. We enjoyed each other's company and wanted any excuse to be able to interact with each other.
Silver Service managed to retain its membership over the 20-person mark. And I think that is because we did a lot to keep each other involved in between meetings. We would keep in contact frequently, check in with each other. We tried to make our online meetings as engaging as our in-person meetings. And I think that for some who were living either on their own or just as a couple, it was an opportunity to talk with other people outside of their bubble. A bubble is like your family group that you live with.
Sadly, during one of the lockdowns, one of our members passed away. Another member drew his widow into her bubble so that she wouldn't be alone, as her children lived down in Auckland and she couldn't get to share a bubble with them. We were so delighted and happy to be able to support each other in those tough times, and it just showed us what we were made of.
What support did Toastmasters give me during the COVID years? Well, my club was able to continue meeting, which was ideal. It gave me that connection, that outside connection that otherwise could be missing. Toastmasters is a great social outlet as well as a great speaking outlet. And so being able to remain connected during that time was something that I found very valuable, that Toastmasters and my club in particular was able to provide for me.
My memory is of Zoom calls, just so many Zoom calls. It was Zoom for work, it was Zoom for Toastmasters, Zoom for whatever else. Yeah, it was just another one of those. But it was nice to have the more casual side of it. So on Friday afternoons, people were a lot more chilled and we would have just a social Zoom call.
For the hybrid clubs I belonged to, they just went on going, switched to Zoom, and our meetings went on as normal. My biggest fear was that Toastmasters at lunchtime would have a negative impact on it because of the lockdowns and us not getting together. So I thought, this can't happen. And I said, let us go straight onto Zoom. I offered my Zoom account, and as quickly as we possibly could, we started meeting in Zoom. During the periods between lockdown, we couldn't meet because the room we were in was too small to allow safe distancing. So we had to go on meeting on Zoom until we were given the all clear and we could get back together. At that stage, we decided to stay hybrid because it would give people opportunities in the future if they went off to Auckland or anywhere or were not well. They could still take part in the meetings and not miss out.
So those are the things I think that I appreciated and enjoyed about it. If it had just shut down for that time, that would have been quite sad, and I think we would have kind of lost momentum. So having Zoom was really, really good.
My memory is quite a few people didn't have their cameras turned on, and that it became more like that over time. So people were more reluctant to turn their cameras on. Some people did like to have them on, be the usual suspects that would have them on, and some people would just never have them on.
Toastmasters.
Yeah, in Toastmasters as well as other places. I think there were just some people who just didn't like having their cameras on, and they just hardly ever did.
We also wanted to ensure that everybody felt welcome. There were those that were very fearful, and there were those that thought, things happen, and we wanted to accommodate everybody. Sadly, there was a bit of friction between our members. There were members who presented speeches pro-vaccine and giving their point of view, and people who were anti-mandate. That didn't just stay as speeches, and a couple of our members ended up leaving because they felt very unhappy about the whole situation in COVID. That made me so sad that we couldn't transcend our differences.
There are varying levels of connectivity, and people, we need some sort of physical interaction. So although we were more connected than ever, we were also connected in a very different way, and then less connected in the physical type of sense. We all had to learn this interesting new language of staring down the barrel of the camera and not having people to, I don't know, high five or to handshake. It was a very different type of interaction. However, if you, depending on the idea of it, between at least myself and the Toastmasters community, Zoom and or video conferencing opened up a huge world to us. And in that instance, connection was far greater than it had ever been